From the Huntington Bank Studio, this is Colts 360.
Welcome to Colts 360. As the Colts prepare for a prime-time matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, I am Lara Overton, joined by head coach Shanesheen. Coming off that game against the Texans, you had both a 100-yard rusher in Jonathan Taylor and a 100-yard receiver in Josh Downs for the first time since back in 2022. What do you need to keep going to create that momentum for the offense?
I think it comes back to fundamentals and details. You know what I mean? Creating those explosive plays, playing with good pad level, creating those creases for JT, and then creating that separation, with the scheme stuff, getting Downs open on some big plays.
How are you continuing to see Josh Downs just get stronger and stronger week in and week out after missing those first few weeks with the injury?
It's been impressive to watch. I think it goes back to his work ethic and his preparation, what he puts into it every single week. He grinds at it. He's always on the jugs machine. He's always getting his treatment. He's going through his process every week, and usually when you do that, it comes to fruition on Sundays.
What does it say about Jonathan Taylor that he misses those few weeks with the high ankle sprain and then immediately contributes with that type of an effort game back?
Yeah, that's the type of player he is. He's going to give everything he's got when he's out there. And again, his vision and his patience to hit those holes and create those chunk plays, it's impressive to watch.
Okay, keeping a similar theme, we're going to ask basically the same question about DeForest Buckner because he missed those 5 weeks with the ankle sprain for him. Pretty significant period of time. We're not used to seeing Buck miss time, but he comes back, immediately makes his presence felt. 3 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and a sack. What did Defo do in that time away when he wasn't able to necessarily play on Sundays to prepare himself to immediately make the type of
you know what? He's the ultimate pro. He was still the first guy in the building. He's in the weight room at 5:15 in the morning, grinding away, maybe even 5 o'clock. Always saw him in there. He was always doing his treatment, getting his rehab, and getting his body right, to get back and ready to play. And so when he got his opportunity to come back this week, he made the most of it and he showed up for us.
Certainly DeForest's presence makes a big difference, but I talked last week with Zaire Franklin about just the difference that there's been within this defense the last few weeks collectively, and he said it's been about committing to an identity. What is the identity that this defense has formed the last few weeks?
I think they're playing together, and they're playing tough, and they're playing physical, and when you play as a group and a unit, it shows up on Sundays, and those guys have come together, and it's been fun to watch.
This marks the midpoint of the season. Kind of crazy to think about going into week 9. What is the message about the opportunity you have at hand as you go into what marks the second half of the season?
Well, I think right now, we're sitting at 500 with a whole lot of football ahead of us. All our goals, that we want to reach are still out in front of us, and we got to take it one day at a time, one meeting at a time, one practice at a time, one game at a time, to reach the end goal.
You had an opportunity to play in Minnesota once before, but this will be your first in your Indianapolis Colts tenure. What stands out about the environment there? Because you feel like the Vikings fans, they have like a very specific and unique identity up there.
Yeah, I know they got their skull chant going, and I know it's one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL, so it's going to be loud. So we're looking forward to it. It doesn't get bigger than Sunday Night Football, so it's going to be an electric atmosphere, and I know our guys will be ready for it.
Do you feel that little bit of extra juice when you have a primetime game?
There's no doubt. I think it's human nature. When you show up on these primetime games, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, it's always a little more amped up.
All right, the Vikings defensively have been very good against the run. They're also top 10 in fewest points allowed. Former Colt Stephon Gilmore over there. What is it about this Brian Flores-led defense that can make it so difficult on opposing offenses?
I think he's very multiple in what he does in his scheme. I got a lot of respect for what he does. Obviously coming from New England to Miami, and now in Minnesota. He's multiple with personnel groups. He mixes up the pressure looks. He mixes up coverages. So they do a really good job.
Coach, always appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend. Excited for a big primetime matchup up in Minnesota.
Zaire came to me one day and was like, bro, I'm starting up a podcast. And he was like, I need you in with me. And I was like, I don't know if I'm really a podcaster, bro. I've never been, in front of the camera, stuff like that. I got a kinesiology degree. I don't really know too much. He was like, bro, I'm telling you, just come, we talk every day. We just gonna be having conversation. So we came, our first pod was like 45 minutes. I felt like that was the longest time I ever sat down and talked in front of a camera.
And stick around because we are getting up to speed with EJ Speed. The Colts linebacker dives into the defense and partnering up with teammate Zaire Franklin off the field. That's next on Colts 360.
This season, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is teaming up with the Colts to shine a light on outstanding small businesses. Indy's our hometown, and boosting local business is just one way we want to thank this great city. Go to Colts.com/Anthem Spotlight to nominate your favorite small business today. Anthem and the Colts, helping Hoosier small businesses score. Forte Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, proud orthopedic partner of the Indianapolis Colts. At Forte, fellowship-trained physicians and staff provide comprehensive, specialized sports medicine and orthopedic care to active patients of all ages. To learn more, visit forteortho.com. Enter now for your kid's chance to be Junior Blue at the next Colts home game. Visit Colts.com/Meyer Junior Blue to enter today.
Play fake. Stroud fires, and it's deflected and incomplete. John Mechie, the intended target, and E.J. Speed got a hand on that one. Jalen Jones thinking possible red zone interception.
Yeah, this is a dangerous throw by C.J. Stroud, and you're right, Speed gets his hands on that one. You get that tip drill. We always talk about it. Once the ball is tipped in the air, it's anybody's game.
Back on Colts 360 with linebacker E.J. Speed. E.J., you have 10 tackles or more in 5 of your last 7 games so far this season. What has allowed you to find that level of productivity and consistency playing alongside Zaire?
Just being in the middle of the field, getting to the ball, effort, playing with high effort, and, just determination to win. I go into every game as I'm the best person on the field. So I try to hold up that standard as best as I can, and getting to the ball is a product of it, for sure.
What did you develop in the time that you were playing, trading off snaps with Shaquille Leonard that we're now seeing really put on display, having an opportunity to own that position in that starting role? I
think it was just big on the standard, not even just playing with Shaquille. It was a lot of guys in that linebacking core that helped me. I came in with Bobby Okereke. He was very productive here with the Colts, and on to New York where he got a big contract. He was productive there. So he helped me to a standard too. And now that I got my brother Zaire next to me, we started he was here a year earlier, but I started my career with him, and we just flourishing in those roles and just going out there and holding ourselves to a standard to be the best.
We have talked a lot, especially coming out of last week or 2 weeks ago, about the depth of the linebacker position. All of the guys that you have in that group, the standard that has been set long before you, and part of that standard is with linebacker dinners. Tell me about these weekly linebacker dinners and why those are such a priority.
Because it's a time for everybody to learn the guys. It's plenty of times when we up here and we're in position battles, and we competing in practice, and we got our nicks and bruises, and there's stuff going on with the family and stuff back home. Linebacker dinner is just a time where you can come chill with the guys and just be free. Everybody needs that break. It's kind of like probably not a great comparison, but kind of like girls' night out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Love a girls'
night
GNO.
out. Y'all going to the nail salon, doing whatever y'all do to just relax and get away from everything. It's that's the same thing in linebacker dinner. It's just time at the Thursdays after the 2 hard practices, just come and relax with the guys and have some fun.
Is it typically going out to eat somewhere? Who's kind of leading that, picking where you guys are going week to week?
Me and Zaire, we pick where we go out, and me and Zaire pays. It's kind of like, it goes through a cycle. We don't split tabs. We don't do that. We brothers. So, it's just a cycle that goes through. Rookies don't pay for anything, of course. I'm giving out the juice to the linebacker. But yeah, rookies don't pay for anything. It's kind of like a gift to welcome to the linebacking core, and it's just a time for everybody to, congregate.
Yeah, it's just that show of leadership, supporting the younger guys, maybe passing things on to them that are important within that. And then, as if you guys aren't spending enough time together when you're in practices, meetings, linebacker dinners, you and Zaire also have the Trenches podcast together. How did that come to be?
Zaire came to me one day and was like, bro, I'm starting up a podcast. And he was like, I need you in with me. And I was like, I don't know if I'm really a podcaster, bro. I've never been, in front of the camera, stuff like that. I got a kinesiology degree. I don't really know too much. He was like, bro, I'm telling you, just come, we talk every day. We just gonna be having conversation. So we came, our first pod was like 45 minutes. I felt like that was the longest time I ever sat down and talked in front of a camera. And then now we do 2-hour pods like it ain't nothing. So, we've been going at it for, I don't even know if it marks the anniversary. I think we started in like OTAs.
Okay, I was going to say, it's coming up on a year, maybe.
Yeah, it
It's
should
been
be
going for a
anniversary right
while.
after
You
this
guys
season.
have
Yeah.
built a very strong following. How much do you enjoy having that outlet? Because you do a ton of media, I know, but it's different when it's your own platform.
Yeah, it's just perfect because it gives the fans the time to see us in our natural elements. You know, usually they see us with our helmets on, our Colts gear, and you know we doing interviews and stuff with some of the other reporters or whatever. But now they get to see us laid back, just talking about the stuff that we do every day. They learn our hobbies, they learn about us. I mean, I feel like it's easier in like an NBA setting or MLB setting because they don't have helmets on.
Yeah.
So now, like, the podcast just give you a chance to learn the personality, and fans get an inside scoop of how we really feel about things. It's perfect for us.
How are you finding the time to do that, though, during the season?
Oh, you find time for anything that's important to you. So, we found a little slot throughout the season where we can do it, and we drop pods on Friday, and it's perfect.
There was a social media video, speaking of different outlets in media, that went back to show some of your high school highlights.
Yeah,
how many different positions did you play in high school?
Yeah, so in high school, first of all, there was not a highlight tape. They looked up my bad plays. I'm still looking for who created that.
Low light tape?
Yeah, they did a little low light tape. But yeah, I played quarterback and receiver. It was some plays where I would line down at quarterback, we would read man coverage, and I would switch and go to receiver, and one of our receivers would go to quarterback and just throw a fade ball. High school football was really that easy.
But that's in
crazy.
Texas. This is Texas high school
football. Yeah, it's
football.
Texas
So
high
that's
school
another
football,
level.
but they wasn't switching coverages. It's just based off, you know what I mean?
Left-handed quarterback too,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. So yeah, I was kick returner, punt returner. I played a lot in high school, so.
And then you
It was fun.
didn't start playing linebacker until the latter part of your college career. What really clicked and came together when you went into that position?
I had a new defensive coordinator come in, Coach Patton. He came in to Tarleton my last 2 years, and he wanted to make that switch to linebacker. And I was like, at first I was kind of rebellious, so I was like, nah, I'm good where I'm at. And he was like, nah, I'm telling you, come to linebacker, give you a shot at the league. And all I heard was league, and I was like, all right, cool. I was like, you sure? And he was like, I promise you. Then I got the linebacker. I think my first practice, I called like a cover two seam interception, like dropping inside, and it was go from there.
All right, so how about you use some of that quarterback intel to pick off Sam Darnold this week at Minnesota,
I can
right?
do that.
We're going to manifest it right here.
Manifest it.
All right, EJ, you are so busy, of course, in the building, outside the building, doing the podcast, also out within the community. And here is a recap of a community event from just a few weeks ago with the Colts kicking the stigma initiative at Pike High School.
So we are doing a mental health meetup at Pike High School to talk with all these kids about how they're doing and how life's going, and knowing that they have people to talk to and how important it is for them not only to talk to people, but to center themselves in every way and just make sure there's balance in their life, mentally, physically, spiritually. I really think it's important for them to know that others are there to support them in this journey. I've always found that in my life, when I'm vulnerable with somebody and I really show them my true self and they show me their true self, that we've had a stronger relationship moving forward because of that. It's just okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to be sad with someone, and just know there's happiness on the other side of that with someone and with people that you love.
Being in Bring Change to Mind has really just opened my eyes to the lack of talk there is about mental health at my school. So I've just been really trying to push the conversation and get more people involved and get more conversation going about mental health.
The Colts, like players and cheerleaders, they've helped because we have a lot of student athletes here. So our student athletes being able to see actual athletes care about their mental health will promote our students to help them care about their mental health. And so then they can continue on a good path in life, and eventually if they want to become professional athletes or cheerleaders, they know that their mental health is still going to matter.
I think that the Colts are doing a great job of really pushing this in the right direction, being progressive, being the trailblazer, so to speak, in this situation. If you have any kind of platform in order to use your voice, you should use that platform in order to help someone and go down and reach out and give them your hand to help, you know? I don't care if you have anything, have everything, or have nothing. You better help somebody around you, because that's what God put us on this earth to do, is help each other.
They've got Sam Darnold now at quarterback. Started the year as the backup. He's having a really good year. He's taking good care of the football himself. His completion percentage is really good. But this offense is relying on the running game to put up points, stay on schedule, and just keep the other team's offense off the field in terms of time of possession. So Sam Darnold is doing a good job of guiding this offense, but the running game is that's what is making it go. In fact, they're 5-0. We talk about the takeaways and that being a good indicator. They're 5-0. Minnesota undefeated when they rush the ball at least 24 times. So that's kind of their magic number, and the Colts have to do a good job against the run early in the game. Minnesota, they sprint out to early leads in the first quarter.
Coming up, previewing a primetime trip into Viking territory. Voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, in studio for how the Colts can position themselves to knock off Minnesota. Next on Colts 360.
Snickers Rookie Mistake Program is back again this season. Learn how you could win Super Bowl 59 tickets at snickers.com/NFL.
Colts fans, be sure to visit the Bud Light Party Zone at Lucas Oil Stadium. The Bud Light Party Zone is above the north end zone in front of the windows that open to the Indianapolis skyline. Bud Light, the official beer of the Indianapolis Colts.
It's time now for the Forum Credit Union Question of the Week.
Kicker Adam Vinatieri is the Colts' all-time leading scorer with over 1,500 points. Who's in second? Kicker Mike Vanderjagt with 995 points during his 8 seasons in Indianapolis.
Visit the Forum Credit Union fan forum section of Colts.com to interact with other fans online. Forum Credit Union, helping members live their financial dreams.
Backing to throw is Richardson. Loading up, taking a shot. Wide open is Josh Downs. He's got it down the far sideline. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, walk-in, touchdown, I-N-D-Y. Josh Downs gives the Colts the lead early on in the first quarter. It's 9-3.
The voice you just heard, the voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, who joins me in studio now for our View from the Booth segment to round out this week's Colts 360. Hey, View from the Booth in Minnesota, not so great. That's okay, though. I got you covered down on the field.
Yeah, you always are in my ear. Let me know where we're spotting the ball, who's making tackles, things of that nature. But, yeah, the newer stadiums, and we should preface, U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, it is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Great home field advantage for the home team and the Vikings. But the newer stadiums are not prioritizing the media, right? So we're buried in the corner. We're watching the game. So you piece it together through your eyes, binoculars, monitor in the booth, and Jumbotron. And you.
All the screens.
Between all of those things, you make it work. Yes.
Well, this is the Colts' first prime time opportunity of 2024 as they go in to face the Minnesota Vikings. Mayte, what are the Colts in prime position to do offensively this Sunday night?
Prime time. I love it, right? Even though the Colts are 4-4, you're still on Sunday Night Football. It's still, your first foray, if you will, to display who you are, what you're about, and play in front of a national audience. So I think you start first on offense, right? To be in prime position to take advantage of this opportunity for the Colts, you got to be much better in the passing game, right? The last 3 games, the Colts are only averaging 164 passing yards per game. That ranks 31st in the NFL in that time. So if you watch the Colts on offense the last couple of games, it's been kind of boom or bust in the passing game, either deep shots or just short completions, not leading to first downs. And you start there, too, on third down. That's an area where the Colts need to get better, too. In the last 2 games, the Colts are just 6 for 26 on third down. So some more sustainability, stay on the field longer. The Colts actually rank last in the NFL on time of possession. That's been a hot button issue for the entire season. And lastly, you got to take good care of the football against the Minnesota Vikings. They are number 2 in the NFL in takeaways as a defense. They have 15 on the season, and they are 5-0 this year, undefeated, when they as a team have at least 2 takeaways. So they've got some game changers on that side of the ball with Jonathan Grenard, who we saw all those years with the Houston Texans, Harrison Smith, the former Notre Dame stud at safety, and then former Colt cornerback Stephon Gilmore. They have sticky coverage, and they are just pros, masters at just taking the ball away.
Hey, I think it's a prime opportunity for Josh Downs in the situation like you just mentioned, coming off 100-yard receiving game down there in Houston. Okay, looking at the Colts defense, they have had a new identity these last few weeks.
Absolutely.
We've heard from Zaire Franklin talking a lot about that, taking ownership. What is this defense in a prime position to do against the Minnesota offense?
Well, first you have to be prime up front. You got to stop the run. Minnesota and their running game, it's led by Aaron Jones, the former Packer. He's 5th in the NFL in rushing yards since he broke in the league in 2017. He's a downhill runner, but he can also catch the ball out of the backfield too. He's one of the best receiving running backs in the NFL. They've got Sam Darnold now at quarterback, started the year as the backup. He's having a really good year. He's taking good care of the football himself. His completion percentage is really good, but this offense is relying on the running game to put up points, stay on schedule, and just keep the other team's offense off the field in terms of time of possession. So Sam Darnold is doing a good job of guiding this offense, but the running game is that's what is making it go. In fact, they're 5-0. We talk about the takeaways and that being a good indicator. They're 5-0. Minnesota undefeated when they rush the ball at least 24 times. So that's kind of their magic number, and the Colts have to do a good job against the run early in the game. Minnesota, they sprint out to early leads in the first quarter. They get the other team behind the 8 ball, and they do so with the running game and the defense taking the ball away.
Prime opportunity that this defense has gotten so much healthier. You got DeForest Buckner back, EJ Speed back, so all of those factors should be in complement to helping that be a very stingy front this weekend. We have on the podcast this week Jamie Erdahl from NFL Network. She is going to be there in Minnesota, her home state. She's going to sound the old Galler horn to get things.
Is it Galler horn or Yaller horn?
I don't know. It's a GJ. I'm not privy to my Viking
Is it GIF
linguistics.
or GIF? Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I know that whole debate right there. But yeah, it's a 7:15 kickoff locally in Minneapolis, 8:15 here in Indianapolis. So what does that do for all of our pregame coverage on the radio broadcast?
Pregame coverage begins at 5:30 Eastern time in Indianapolis on our local flagship stations, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan, sister station there, 97 Hank FM. But we go 9 hours starting in primetime, right? So we don't sacrifice anything. We still have you all night long. So we're going to go until 2:30 a.m. on the flagship stations in Indy, breaking down what hopefully is a big win for the Colts to go back over 500.
Mayte, always great to have you here in studio. Thanks for spending part of your weekend here with us on Colts 360, getting ready for game day, that prime time game for the Colts at Minneapolis this weekend. Look forward to hopefully seeing you on game day and certainly seeing you back here in studio next week.